Hello and welcome to Simple French Cooking. I'm so excited today. I'm going to be making one of my favorite classic French dishes, beef bourguignon. The cool thing is the recipe, if you have my book, the recipe is in my book, French Cooking for Beginners. This book just came out on the 31st of March and it's got 75 great recipes that are going to bring the flavors of France straight into your kitchen. Perfect for taking a French staycation this summer. All right, we're going to start out by marinating the beef. So instead of using like beef stew meat, I'm going to be using these beautiful short ribs that I picked up at the meat market today. And so the very first step, what you got to do is you got to marinate your beef for a minimum of 6 hours, if not overnight. And this is what's going to give the meat, just some of its great flavor. So take all of your meat and put it inside a non-reactive bowl. And then I like big flavor, so I'm going to be putting a head of garlic that I cut in half in here to marinate. And then I was out in my garden and check out these herbs. God, they are so beautiful. I have some thyme, some of it's flowering. I have some rosemary, and then lately I've been really getting into summer savory, so I'm going to throw that in there as well. And then I would add like a bay leaf in here, and then we're just going to take a bottle of wine and pour it over and marinate it. Okay, and now on the subject of wine, when you're making beef Burgundy, you should use a red Burgundy wine for the dish. I mean, that's part of how the dish got named. But I know a lot of people who have Burgundies at home. They're usually fairly expensive wines and they can't bring themselves to using a $30, $40, $50, $100 bottle of wine for a beef dish. So what you should do is go to a grocery store, find yourself a Pinot Noir, because what you're really looking for is a lighter bodied red. I mean, of course, make it with a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Zinfandel. It's up to you. It's your dish. You're eating it. Who cares? But if you're trying to be a little bit truer to the flavor, just make sure you get a Pinot Noir at least, preferably a red Burgundy. And so we're going to marinate the beef in the whole bottle. So far, so easy. Anybody can make this dish at home. And I'm going to tell you, it's awesome. Anyways, we're going to let this marinate for about 6 hours and I'll be back. All right, welcome back. Now your meat's marinated for 24 hours. And look at it, it's just this beautiful red color to the meat. It's got a beautiful smell. So now your meat is marinated really well. The very first step is we're going to take a tablespoon of fat, heat it up in our Dutch oven. And then we're going to take about 4 ounces of diced bacon. And we're going to just cook this, browning it lightly. And while that's browning, I want to pull the meat out. And then we're going to strain the marinade and save it for the dish. After about 5 minutes, your bacon should be ready. And we're going to add 1 chopped onion. Now, classic recipes for beef bourguignon are going to call for pearl onions. I didn't have pearl onions today, and really I'm making more of a household version, so I'm not too worried about that. You can also buy frozen, already peeled pearl onions. You see them usually in grocery stores around Thanksgiving, but if you're lucky, your grocery store will have some of those. Or sometimes I like to use cipollini onions. Anyway, so we've added our onion, and we're just going to let this cook for another 5 or so minutes until the onions turn translucent. Now that my onions are cooked, I want to take the onions and bacon out and reserve them for later on in the dish. I find the easiest way to do this is either with a slotted spoon, or you can just take your pot and dump it all into a colander with a bowl. And they'll quickly separate the fat from your onions and your bacon. All right, now we've added the fat back to the pan and we've brought the heat back up to about smoking point. And we're gonna add about 10 or so button mushrooms. And just brown these really quickly in the fat. You'll notice a lot of recipes add the bacon, cook the bacon separate, add the onions separately, they cook the mushrooms separately. That's not how they do it in Burgundy. You want to cook it all in the same pot because right now what you're doing is developing all the layers of flavors that you're going to get in the sauce. Look how beautifully golden brown my mushrooms are. Now we're just going to add those to the onions and the bacon. We're just going to let these guys rest over here. Now using a pair of tongs, you want to take your pieces of meat and just add them into your pan. And you'll probably have to work in batches, so do this in about 2 batches. And what we're trying to do is brown the meat on both sides. And once your meat's browned nicely, just want to take it out of the pan, put it aside. One of the things I love about stews is that after you get all the ingredients in your pot and you throw it in the oven, you can forget about it for a couple hours. You know, it's just kind of a perfect dish in that respect. Wow, look how beautiful that is. All right, so now I've diced up 2 carrots. I'm gonna add that, and 2 stalks of celery. We're just gonna cook the carrots and celery till they get a little bit soft. Oh, look at this. Ah, it just looks so beautiful. And really the smells of the bacon with the brown meat, it just smells heavenly in my kitchen right now. I'm gonna add about 1 tablespoon of flour and just stir that in. And so you're kind of making like a roux in the pan here. And then we're gonna add our marinade. And just be sure to scrape the bottom of the pan because you want to get all those like little chunks. I'm going to add about 2 cups of stock. Now I would normally use beef stock. I didn't have any, so I used chicken stock, and this is going to be perfectly fine. Another trick you'll see often in France is people will add little squares of bitter chocolate to this dish. And the bitter chocolate, I mean, think about like a mole in Mexican cooking. The bitter chocolate just gives it a nice rich dark color, and also just this like underlying earthy flavor that's incredible. I personally don't use it, but feel free to if you like. All right, so now we're going to add a few things. We're going to add about 8 cloves of garlic, and you just have to rough chop it. You know, I suppose right now I should mention that you have to make a decision at this point, and the decision is, do you want kind of a rustic style where you leave the little bits of carrot and celery and rough garlic in the sauce, which is perfectly fine, or you can do like they do in Burgundy where you braise the meat with the herbs and all this. You're going to strain it, then you're going to add back your onions, your bacon, and your mushrooms, and that's the garnish in the sauce. Right now all this stuff is just different layers of flavor for you. So it's your decision, but either way, we're going to add a bunch of herbs. Now this is some thyme from my garden, also a little bit of summer savory. I'm adding a bay leaf or 2 there, and then we're going to add back all the meat. Oh man, this is just incredible looking. All right, and you want to make sure you get all the juices that might have come out of the meat. Perfect. Look at this guy. This just looks amazing. All right, let's cover this up. Now I'm going to pop this into my oven. It's going to cook at about 350 for about 2 hours or so, or until the meat's tender. If it needs a little longer, just let it cook longer. Anyways, I'll see you back then. This has been in the oven for a couple hours. Let's check it out. Oh my God. Let's just break off a little piece. Oh my God. You know, I decided I'm not going to worry about the little chunks of vegetable. So we're going to add our onions, bacon, and mushrooms. And we're just going to let this cook for another 20-30 minutes. And then it's ready. Wow. Oh God, look at this. The beef bourguignon just looks amazing. Let's just pull a bone out. Oh God, it's just perfect. Let's taste the sauce. Well, this is just perfect. So if you want really the best beef bourguignon, give this recipe a shot. Be sure to hit the bell. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And leave me a message in the comments letting me know what kind of dishes you'd like to see in the future. Thank you.